So, everyone, I am okay. Yes, I figured it out. So, I'm guessing this is a different link than the one that I shared with everyone. Let me see if I can figure out how to share this. I hate that this happened. Share screen, share. There we go. Copy. Give me just a moment. I know what I did wrong. So, um, new link. Join me live. All right, let me just add this on there. Link. And I will go ahead and get started. So thank you everyone for being patient. Emily. Okay. Yeah, that is a different one. That is a different link. Copy link. And I'm really excited about this one today too. This is really link to join. No. Your stories. Okay. All right. All right. So, stepping into the queen era, putting our crown back on. So, this is a topic that it's really funny. I kept getting information about us as women really stepping into our power and stepping into our truth. And as I was sending out the emails, the newsletters, doing posts on this, I see that other women are also talking about this. So, what that tells me is this is a time in our, there's a time right now that women are really ready for this information. So, regardless if it's coming from me or if it's coming from someone else, there are those of us that are really hearing the call to bring this to the attention of the collective women for where we're going and what we really need to what is what we have the invitation to step into at this time. I hate that I did this. So hopefully everyone will find me, and if not, they will see the replay. So please share in the comments where you are joining from, whether you are joining the live right now or you are joining the replay, watching the replay. And I do have my little dog, my big dog over here. She's next to me. So hopefully she will just rest for this period and give us the space to dive into this topic. And so today I have some notes. And first of all, I want to welcome you to the Feminine Codes. And this is a place where we really get to dive deeply into the feminine, the sacred mysteries of the feminine, through embodiment, through sexual power, through soul-led feminine leadership. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Tamar Gail, and I am the creatrix of the Feminine Codes. Although it's not something that I created, it's something that I remembered. And so I remembered it so that I could share these codes with the women of the world. And so we're going to be exploring a really powerful code of transformation that every woman will meet on her path at some point. And today that transition is going from the princess to the queen. So if you have any questions or if anything comes up, please feel free to leave that in the comments as we dive in. So I'm calling this the reclaiming of your crown and how to step into your queen era. And so let's dive in. First of all, let me just start by saying that there's nothing wrong with this princess energy. So I'm not making anyone wrong for being in this type of energy. She's a very sacred phase of development that we need as women. She's playful, she's tenderhearted, she dreams, she's full of that longing for love and for magic. But the princess energy can also keep us stuck. She can keep us trapped in waiting and wishing and in needing, feeling like we need someone else to make us feel worthy. And we all carry this princess energy at some point in our lives. It's the part of us that wants to be chosen. I mean, who doesn't want that, especially when we're young and we feel that really deep desire to be chosen by parents and especially by a father figure. And so that doesn't, when we're at that stage, it doesn't feel like we're powerful on our own. And so that can lead to us really, sorry. Oops. That can lead to us really using our beauty and our charm, our seduction as a way to feel safe and to draw that energy towards us to make us feel like we're chosen. Or we can struggle when things don't go our way and we can react. And so here in a little bit, I'm going to give you some definitions of what the princess energy can look and feel like, and also what the queen energy can look and feel like. But when a woman really starts to wake up, when she really begins to remember who she is, that she doesn't feel like she needs to be rescued by anyone anymore. And this is when she begins to really own her crown and put her crown back on. So I want to really break this down clearly, because this is one of the feminine codes that I teach inside of my work and inside of the app. And so I'll share that with you later, because there is a transmission and an activation that goes with this that really allows you to step into that. But first, I want to kind of go over the difference between what the princess energy and the queen energy feels like and what it looks like. And it's the difference between really being externally defined, having something outside of you defining who we are as a woman, rather than as the queen energy being self-sourced, self-sufficient in sourcing our own energy, our own love, our own worth from inside of ourselves. And so I'm going to name a few of the energies behind the princess. So the princess is still learning how to regulate her emotions. She seeks attention and validation to feel worthy. She reacts when she feels rejected or she feels unseen. She wants love, but oftentimes she's giving her power away in order to feel the love, that external validation. And she can be magnetic, she can feel magnetic, but it's not embodied. It's not truly embodied. And so this is the unconscious feminine. She's still seeking validation, approval, and safety from that external source. And core characteristics of the princess energy is that she looks for others to save her, whether that's romantically, financially, or even emotionally. She's easily thrown off her center by the rejection or not getting her own way. And that goes back to the one I said earlier. She avoids responsibility for her emotions. And many times she may manipulate or seduce to get her needs met. She identifies her power through desirability, through attention, through status. She feels unworthy, and she can overcompensate or play small, stay small in order to feel love and approval by someone else. And she often gets caught up in fantasy, those fairy tales, and waiting for life to begin instead of taking the bull by the horns and really like creating life herself. And the shadow, so this is the shadow, right? The shadow code is that the princess has not been initiated yet into herself by her own feminine power. And she may look the part, she may speak the part, she may dress the part. In the external world, she looks like she has it all together. She looks like she's that queen. But she hasn't yet really claimed that. She hasn't leveled up. She hasn't stepped into that or onto her throne yet. She might wear the crown, but it's made of glass. And really, it's okay. And I'm not making, like I said, I'm not making anyone wrong for being there. It's lessons. This is life lesson that we all need to experience. We all need to go through this. But we get the opportunity to step into another version of ourselves, step into our own power and really claim that for ourselves. And then we have the queen energy. And the queen energy is really rooted. She's regulated in her emotions. She's also receptive. She knows her worth. She doesn't need to prove it. She doesn't need external validation. She knows who she is. Her presence speaks louder than her words. You can feel her energy. You can feel that she's embodied. She doesn't need to necessarily speak. She's the one that walks into a room and you notice her because she has a presence about her. And it's not her clothes and it's not her words. It's the energy that she carries. She's not performing. She chooses herself. She chooses how she shows up. She chooses what she does, who she does it for, who she helps. The way she's living in the world, it's all a choice, not for external validation, but because of how it makes her feel and because of what she wants to accomplish in the world, how she wants to be. And her love is deep. She's able to discern, and yet she's devoted to what she loves. She's not desperate. And in that, she leads herself. And in leading herself, she becomes that light for others. And that's what I was explaining. When she walks into a room, you feel it. You really feel her presence. You feel her energy. It's because she is connected to her divine feminine light that is the center of herself, and she's full of that. And so she doesn't need the external. She doesn't need the clothes, although nice, that doesn't matter. She is radiating from within. So the queen energy is a fully embodied feminine, rooted in self-respect, her inner knowing, her magnetic embodied presence. So that's different than the princess energy. And the core characteristics of the queen energy is that she leads herself with grace, with clear boundaries, self-honoring decisions. She's really setting those boundaries and living by those because she knows that she cannot give to everyone and everything without being depleted. And she's able to do that with grace. And she attracts rather than chases because she knows her worth and she chooses from power instead of living within fear. She regulates her emotions. She speaks her truth, but she speaks with love. She speaks with respect for herself and for others, and she holds space for others. She doesn't perform. She is fully and unapologetically herself. She is grounded in service and in purpose and in legacy, not just what she's able to gain. And she understands what devotion is. She understands that devotion over drama is really of self-respect, right? Self-preservation as well, self-love, to live from a place of devotion. And she chooses to have relationships and to live life with a depth to have connections that's full of depth instead of just wanting to gain attention. And with that divine feminine light, that filling up with light, she is a vessel of discernment, of wisdom, of sacred leadership. And so the embodied code for the queen is that the queen has journeyed through her shadows. She's journeyed through that initiation, and she no longer needs the crown. She doesn't care about the crown. She doesn't care because she is that already. She walks as that. And so anything external, even the sense of wearing a crown, no longer matters. She does not need the fairy tale because she is the full story. And she's done waiting for other people to choose her. She's done waiting for things to happen in her life. She's here to create. She's here to lead. She's here to align and stay aligned with integrity. She's connected to her sensuality, and she's living for purpose. And so, do any of these resonate with you? And some you may resonate a little bit with some of the princess energy and some with the queen energy. Maybe you're in the middle of that initiation right now. And there's nothing wrong. As I said, this is an opportunity to see ourselves and to step up into more of an embodied queen energy. We get that opportunity to have that type of initiation as a woman. And so this really deeply connects with the feminine codes, because this is really an initiation from the princess to the queen. And that represents awakening of your own inner sovereignty, reclaiming your power, reclaiming your voice, and choosing from within instead of externally. It's an alchemical journey of transmuting pain and immaturity, fantasy, into true embodied gnosis, embodied wisdom, truth. And it's the embodiment of sacred feminine leadership, moving from external image and how you're portrayed to really that internal essence. And the difference between the leadership is that feminine light. How do people feel you? How are you showing up? It's that magnetism. And a feminine leader, you don't really need to say anything. You are an example by who you are. So words really aren't needed as much as your presence, because a woman aligned with her truth, aligned with her purpose, and is living in integrity is felt. And that shifts the people around you. They're able to, even if they don't know how to explain it, they feel it. And there begins to plant a seed and things begin to shift. Sorry, my throat just itched on the inside. And so inside, as I said, the Feminine Codes app, there is a audio activation to guide you through this exact energy upgrade from the princess to the queen. Sorry, I think I had too much coffee today. I'm really thirsty. And really help you step into that embodiment of the queen. And so this is deep, deep remembering, a reclaiming, and a frequency reset that will leave you feeling different, speaking different, knowing your worth on a soul level. And so here's the piece that we must name. The queen isn't like, her energy isn't just about being soft. It's not just about radiance, receptivity, and being seen. What makes a queen really powerful is that she has had this sacred union, and she's activated sacred union within self is what I'm talking about here. And I call that soul tantra. She has activated her own inner divine masculine. And I feel this is a really important piece that we need to talk about. And I hear a lot about women being in their soft era. And I think that's super important, really important, because we don't know how to do that. A lot of us don't know how to soften. And our inner masculine is on hyper survival mode. It's in protection mode, and it's trying to keep us safe, and it's trying to, get things done for us. But when we can really activate our inner divine masculine and our sacred divine feminine, and really have both of those in a healthy union within ourselves, I feel like this is a really important piece to the queen, because she doesn't reject structure, discipline, or direction. She knows how to wield it. She knows how to use it. Her masculine holds her vision steady. He protects her dreams. He shows up with consistency, with focus, and with fire. Isn't that the way that we want our men to show up in our lives? And she knows then as well when she can soften into her feminine. And so she's able to go from one to the other, when to call upon her inner masculine to take aligned, powerful, focused action, and also when to soften into her feminine. And so when we have both of those pieces together, this is when things can be really created in our life out of alignment. And I think that, like I said, this is the missing piece in a lot of the soft girl era conversations. Softness is really beautiful, and we need that. It's medicine for us as women, especially when we've been hardened, when we've been through trauma, when we've had to be in that boss girl era, or we've worked in corporations, or when we're single mothers and we're always on the go. Like, softness is medicine for our soul. We need the softness. But the queen is not just soft. She's sovereign. She is soft and strategic. She is receptive and decisive. She is flowing and she's fierce. And this is the union of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine within her. And in ancient matrilineal times, this was embodied in real life. And I don't know about you, and you probably don't know this about me, but if I was to be able to do anything that I wanted to do in the world, it would be anthropology or archaeology, or be Martha Stewart. But that's neither here nor there. And so I'm really fascinated by the study of cultures, by the study of history, by the way that we've lived, which is probably why I'm so deep into this work. And in these ancient times, and ancient matrilineal times, this was embodied in real life. Women held power. Queens were not just symbols. They were rulers. They were warriors. They were landowners. They protectors of the sacred. They were priestesses. They had wealth. They held spiritual authority. They knew how to govern and how to pray. And I am seeing a lot of archaeological recoveries showing women having been buried and preserved as queens and holding their weapons. So we really need to look at the power that these women held, which I think is super beautiful. They were able to rule, and they were able to many times be in their sacred container of also being a priestess queen. And so more, like I said, more and more sites are being unearthed, and they reveal these women of great status. They were buried with gold and sacred symbols tattooed on their skin, ceremonial items in one hand and their weapons in the other, showing that they were both of these things. Like, how beautiful is that? And so these discoveries are needed at this time. And so what does this show us? That the queen code is not just a fantasy. It's a remembering. And so, as I said about the feminine codes and why this is created, this is not something that I just created out of thin air. It was a remembering. And when I opened up to that, it was a channeling. It was just receiving these downloads of information of the codes. It's our inheritance. And as modern women, we're really being called to reclaim it, not just in the outer world, but in our inner world. To stop shaming our structure, our ambition, and our focus, and instead integrate it into our feminine temple as a sacred masculine protector of our feminine dreams. And over this last year, I had such, I guess, an awakening with my own inner union. Like, it was this big realization. And I did a whole ceremony of honoring my own inner masculine for all of the holding it's done over the past couple of years as I've built what I've built. Because my feminine was needing this, right? This structure, this discipline, this holding. And although, like, I knew what was coming and I was the creatrix behind it, like, I was the one who was receiving that, my masculine was the one who was doing the discipline work, putting it all together, sitting there making it happen. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am right now. I wouldn't have what I have right now. And so I did a whole ceremony in honoring my own inner divine masculine. And I can tell you that it also helped my relationship and the external world. And so I wanted to share with you that I remember a moment in my own journey where I realized that I had still been waiting to be picked. And, like, all of us have been there, waiting for someone to affirm that really what we already know inside. And so I had all the tools at that time, and I hadn't fully claimed them. I didn't really know how to claim them myself. And when I finally said no more, like, I'm done with that, when I stopped outsourcing my power to lovers, even mentors, or even the version of myself that I thought that I had to be, that's when things really began to shift. And I see this in a lot of my clients too. That moment that they go from, how do I get him to choose me, to, I choose myself. And I choose what I allow into my life. And I only choose to allow into my life I only choose what I allow into my life that is sacred. And so I'm not allowing anything into my life that I wouldn't choose for myself. Does that make sense? And so that's when everything starts to change. And so the feminine codes are not something to take lightly. They are an energetic blueprint that lives inside of our body. They are this remembrance. And the queen is one of the key archetypes that you'll meet when you walk this path, and a very, very important archetype that is an initiation for a woman. She's not just a concept. She is an embodiment, a frequency. And when you activate her, you magnetize differently. You speak differently. You hold space differently. You lead differently. You love and you live differently. And you stop leaking your energy outwards. You stop leaking this life force, your vitality outwards. You have more energy. You stop begging for crumbs. You stop walking the way that, like, your shoulders hunched over and like this look of insecurity, because that's what that is, right? You start walking like a woman who knows, like a woman who's confident in her skin, who's really confident in her skin. And when a woman knows, when she truly knows who she is, everyone around her will feel it. You can walk into a room and people will say something to you about it. And so I want to now, lastly, invite you into embodying your queen energy. And so if you're feeling the call, if this resonates with you, if this teaching resonates with you, if you're ready to step out of performance, approval seeking, and into and onto your throne, then I want to invite you into the Feminine Codes app. Because inside, you're going to receive everything that you need to go from one to the other, to go from the princess to the queen, to really step up into the next level. You have embodiment practices, you have sacred rituals and activations, you have feminine archetypes, transmissions, you have shadow work, parts work, whatever you want to call it, kind of the same thing, declare old patterns, live call workshops, and really sisterhood, live, like lifetime support. And a woman community of like-minded women who are walking this path with you. And this is not for everyone. My Feminine Codes app is not for everyone. It's a temple. It's a sacred space. And so if you feel like this resonates with you, then it's for you, because it's not for everybody. I'm very well aware of that. This isn't just content. It's a coded experience. And it's designed to help you remember what your soul has always known. It is a temple. And so you'll find the link to that in the show notes. And if you have any questions about any of that, please feel free to reach out. I am always here to support. And if you have any questions, I'm just going to open this up for Q&A for a moment and just see if there's anything there. And if you're watching the replay and if you have questions, please put them in the comments, and I will answer those as I see them. And also, I'm really planning on doing live calls probably every couple of weeks on here. And next time I will understand the voice, the speaker. So that will be fixed next time. I'm not going to run into this problem. But yes, if you have not signed up for my newsletters, please sign up for those. You will get the alerts for when I'm going to be doing live calls like this, and also you'll get embodiment practices. Yeah, there's a lot of I'm adding a lot of information in there, a lot of good quality information to help you really step into your truth and remembrance. So if you're not signed up for my newsletters, I invite you to do so. And until next time, thank you for joining me. Now I just got to figure out how to turn it off. So Emily, is the queen energy something that you stay in once you've embodied it? I seem to go in and out of it quite a bit. You know, I feel like, in my experience, it's more and more that we practice this kind of embodiment, the more that we find our central ground, right? And I think this is with anything. We can see that ourselves doing these cycles. And so the faster that you're able to catch it, and you're able to come back into, let's say, the queen energy, because we're talking about the queen energy right now. So let's say you slip back into this princess energy, and you're reactive, and you're like, whatever that is for you. The faster that you're able to catch it and switch it and to change the energy in the moment, the easier it's going to become to consistently live in that energy. Does that make sense? So it's more like a repetition. It's a practice. You know, they say it takes like 21 days of repetition to form a new habit. It's kind of like that. So you're forming a new way of being, and it doesn't just happen like that, but you get to feel it, right? You know the feeling of the queen energy. And so when you're out of alignment, you can faster recognize it and step back into it. And so the transmissions and the activations are to allow you to feel that. They activate it within you, but it is going to be, you're going to see yourself probably slip into, back into the princess energy here and there, and then come back to it. Remember how that feels. Remember what that is. Remember who you are, and shift. All right. So thank you, everyone. And now I will see you next time.